Hey there, it's Playing Karma here. I'm developing a guide video on King K Rool and how to play the character correctly, but since this character is an actual fever dream in so many areas, we're going to go over as many techs individually. For this video, we're going to be going over King K Rool's two main Blunderbuss techs, Vacuum Delay and Fake Shot Vacuum Cancel. They're quite simple and exploit the way Vacuum works. Very easy to pull off, don't worry, barely any tech skills required. However, Hat's Cancel won't be covered here as there's not enough research into the tech entirely, thus meaning it's not really worth making a video on it just yet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, let's go over Vacuum Delay first. What Vacuum Delay does is take advantage of the way Blunderbuss transitions to vacuum. You don't actually have to hold B to do this, you can space your B input to still get it. Thus, Vacuum Delay is born. Let's go over the frame data revolving around this first. Blunderbuss will transition to vacuum on frame 50, but it has 69 total frames by default, which is very nice obviously, as we all know, 69, I am a child. As a result, spacing your B inputs between frames 51 and 69 will allow you to execute vacuum on those frames, not just frame 50. So, what does this enable, I hear you ask? Well, you can delay vacuum by up to 19 frames, which is very significant. Vacuum delay is an excellent mix-up opportunity given that many opponents will attempt to punish you as you try to shoot out the cannonball. After all, this frame 30 startup is very punishable. By manipulating when vacuum comes out, some opponents can become extremely confused as to how they just keep falling into the vacuum somehow. You can time it to come out just as Blunderbuss is being put away, which makes this such strong bait. It gets so many people. Vacuum Delay also helps organise reshoots, as the vacuum always prioritises the player over a cannonball. This is literally just how it's coded. At around 40 to 50%, depending on the opponent's weight, the cannonballs start launching opponents a bit further. However, you'll still vacuum opponents in this scenario. Vacuum Delay, however, means you can reshoot the cannonball after the opponent has left the vacuum radius. This is supremely helpful when you're learning to master Blunderbuss management, as there are some setups you can pull off with this sequence. The potential is magnified in doubles, where you can catch opponents recovering high or trying to intercept you. You can also drop through platforms while starting up your reshoot with opponents or cannonballs, and this adds another layer of strategy as a result. This is one of the easier reshoot setups as well through using Vacuum Delay on a cannonball, though this hasn't been labbed properly yet. Vacuum Delay has virtually no setbacks at all. It provides additional control over the Blunderbuss that feels very comfortable, and the other real setback I can think of is if you delay it too long and get punished. But once you understand how vacuum stocks up, picking up frame 7, you can learn to time this on command. Much better than put yourself on a much larger first actionable frame after already shooting out a cannonball. You know, it's stupid, isn't it? Now onto Fake Shot Vacuum Cancel. We in the King K Rool player base call an empty blunderbuss a fake shot. If you tap B while the cannonball is out, you'll shoot smoke instead of another cannonball, as we all know. Have you ever wanted to know the inner workings of this seemingly harmless thing though? Initially, this thing looks absolutely awful, 69 frames of nothingness. However, this has an unusual first actionable frame. It transitions to vacuum on frame 2, it seems. This is why using vacuum like this looks so jittery. As a result though, you can use a better version of Vacuum Delay through this. You can transition to vacuum on any frame of the animation, not just by holding B. Choose this, you can be pretty dirty with a fake mistake, or delay vacuum in a more creative way while dropping through platforms with the Blunderbuss. It's very fun to practice timing with this, as you can perform it on any frame of the animation. Thus, there are timings like frame 30, where the smoke comes out to make it look like a unique move or something. Due to only being available for 150 frames however, some of which is covered up by Blunderbuss MVAG and the like, Fake Shot Vacuum Cancel's potential is heavily restricted. It also requires a good degree of creativity to be used in a way that benefits the player, although dropping through platforms with it is usually more than enough to get reshoots going. Fake Shot Vacuum Cancel is mostly a mix-up that you can use a few times per game more than anything else. It's very effective on players that don't know the full extent of K Rool, which is frankly quite common because of how complicated he actually is. People think he's basic, but then you chuck this at them and they're like, oh wait, what do I do here? So yeah, that's Fake Shot Vacuum Cancel. Nothing significant, but it's interesting. So to conclude, are these techs viable? Well yes, especially Vacuum Delay. I use these all the time in my games personally, and I know a good few K Rool players using them at the higher levels. Vacuum Delay not only baits the opponent harder, but also provides very important reshoot setups that allow you to save frames on Vacuum that normally wouldn't even touch an opponent. As a result, this tech has a huge amount of practicality and enables more creative blunderbuss management for even a low-level player. Fake Shot's Vacuum Cancel is a bit worse, but it's mainly because it's a mix at its core, with no real utility outside of that. However, I still recommend learning it for the fringe scenarios where you can use it for sure. It's very viable, just requires quick thinking in a short space of time. Now, before people start debating whether these make K Rool viable or anything, for starters, that's not what this video is for. This video is to showcase tech that has not had any footage or proper review, despite how useful it can be. Instead of debating the viability of a character, get to practicing instead, and making the best use of your character and your time. It's a much more positive and fulfilling experience than rambling in the YouTube comment section about something that's not even relevant to the video itself. Anyway, this was Playing on Karma, and I'll see you guys next time.